Okay, hello everyone. Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. Because it's 100 years of tanks, September the 15th, the first tank was used in the Battle of the Somme. And World of Tanks PC did something where you've got the fairly fun convoy game mode with your Lanchester armored cars defending the Mark One. Here in Blitz, they've gone they've gone one better, and they've actually just given you a Mark One heavy tank to use. Now, this isn't an exact replica of the Mark One heavy tank because, well, it's got a 6-pounder mounted in the front of the hull, which the Mark One didn't have. Plus, it's got side sponsons which have got machine guns in it. So technically, this is a Mark One female, but with a big 6-pounder sticking out the front of the hull, and this is what you use to shoot. You effectively have a tank destroyer layout here, so you act very much like a tank destroyer. You've got the one gun here which can fire between the tracks here, and these. I don't think these actually count as areas to hit. I think they're just cosmetic things. These don't actually count as part of the tank, so I don't think that you can hit these and actually do hit point damage. So you effectively have got the rest of the tank here, which you need to hit to do damage. But yeah, so it's a Mark One tank which has got side sponsons like a Mark One female, and this weird 6-pounder arrangement. So it's not quite historically accurate, and you'll also see by basically all the stats of it, that it's not an exact replica of the Mark One. Because, to be honest, an actual Mark One travelling at the speed that a Mark One goes would not be the funnest thing to do. But it does have the wheels. The wheels do turn, which is quite fun. You only fight other Mark Ones here, and and you only fight on the Fort Despair map, because I'm guessing it's the only World War One. Well, it's the most World War One-ish map that they have, so there's that. But anyway, let's start by having a look at the tank. So protection 10%, firepower 14, shot effectiveness 36, and maneuverability 29%. So for a tier 1, 550 HP is a fair amount of hit points. That's like tier 4 medium here in Blitz hit points. May even be better, maybe worse, I'm not too sure, but it's fairly high in the Blitz ranking. But for a tier 1 tank, that's a fair amount of hit points. Now, as for the armour is only 15 at the front, 5 at the side, 12 at the rear, and the turret armour is 15 at the front, 0 at the side and rear. And if you're wondering where the turret is, this counts as the turret. This slit here with the gun mantlet counts as 15mm. The rest of it counts as 0. So you can hit it there, and if you're unlucky, then you'll only do damage to the gun. But if you hit around here, then you'll be fine. So yeah, that's 15, like the gun mantlet here, and then the front of the tank here, 15, 5, 12. It's not armoured at all, really. The Mark One in World War One was barely bulletproof. I mean, it was bulletproof to an extent, but a lot of rounds being fired at it, some of them will break through the armour. I mean, the armour was good for 2 to 3 bullet hits, and then if you keep hitting it in a dented spot, then the bullets will just pierce through, because, well, this armour was supposed to be bullet and shrapnel proof. It wasn't supposed to be, T-34 turret armour. It wasn't supposed to be like that. It was supposed to be fairly bulletproof, which it was, but for actually other tank combat, it's not particularly great. Yeah. So the armour's nothing spectacular. It's actually pretty terrible. What's this news here? Probably a notification, yeah. So there's that. The armour, yeah, not great. As for the gun, here's the gun that you get. It's a 6-pounder Hotchkiss quick-fire gun with an 8.57 rounds per minute, which is fair enough. 57 AP with 7 high explosive, so yeah, generally use armor piercing to get, you know, actual damage done. High explosive is fair enough on the side, but yeah. So the average damage 90 with AP, 120 with HE, 0.40 dispersion, 2.3 second aim time. The aim time is fairly good. The dispersion not that great, but for a World War I gun, that's fair dispersion to, you know, that's fair enough dispersion. It weighs 375 kilograms. There's the turret, Mark 1. Yeah, front side row. Turret traverse 44. View range 210. Not particularly great, but then again, not that bad. It's only tier 1 after all. And then we come to the engine. It's a Daimler Knight V6 engine with a 300 horsepower, with a 20% chance of fire and impact, 270 kilograms weight, and then you got the suspension with a 32 load limit, 30 degrees per second traverse speed, and it weighs that much. So, yeah, speed limit 25 kilometers an hour. That's a lot quicker. That's 21 kilometers an hour faster than it should be going if it was a Mark 1, because a Mark 1 only went at 4 kilometers an hour or 4 miles an hour. Either one, it's not great. So yeah, that's not great. It weighs 28.12 tons with a 300 horsepower engine. Yeah, it's not the most mobile thing. It's fairly sluggish. 300 horsepower Daimler Knight V6 engine. Yeah, not that great. It does look cool though. Specifically designed for crossing trenches. Now, as for the equipment fit, you can't actually fit a gun rammer, but you can fit an improved vents. So I went ahead and put on improved vents. It's only 300. It's only 3,000 credits. I mean, it's nothing spectacularly expensive. You can always fit a toolbox, which will be fairly handy. Binos. Probably replace binos with coated optics. Don't bother with camo net, and you don't really need a gun lane drive. So I think the only 3 things that you should be mounting on here is improved vents, a toolbox, and coated optics. I do realise that by the time this review actually goes out, this event will be long gone, but no matter. So here's the shells that you use. 57mm armor piercing, 57mm steel shell (NF). Or a 57mm HE 57mm common shell, and that's your high explosive. That's your AP, obviously. You carry 120 rounds, which is fair enough. Here are your provisions. You got standard fuel plus 3 engine power and traverse speed, automatically activated, permanent effect through 1 battle. Black tea, I don't know. Plus 3 to crew mastery, activated automatically, permanent throughout 1 battle. And then your protective kit. 15% to protection of crew from injuries, 10% to module repair, 20% to fire protection, 10% to ammo and fuel tank durability. And once again, activate automatically, permanent effect. So go ahead and slap them on if you want. I don't use provisions, so I haven't, but no well. Now, as for your consumables, your standard repair, first aid, and automatic fire. You could put an engine power boost for your pathetically weedy V6 Daimler Knight engine, but yeah, that lasts for 15 seconds with a cooldown of 75, multiple uses during a battle, which is something that I like about Blitz, which is that these things, they do have a cooldown timer, but you can use them multiple times if you're skilled, and you don't die. So yeah, there's that. Then you've got your, well, let's move on to adrenaline actually for 1,400 credits. I was looking at the credits there, but 20% to load speed, 10% chance to damaging enemy vehicle modules, 15-second duration with a 75-second cooldown. So, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to use either of those, then you'd want to get a couple of these multi-purpose restoration packs, which are all of these things combined, for only 800 credits. And if you're wondering why I don't just carry around one of these and then a couple of these, is because say that your track gets damaged, or actually no, say that you get set on fire and you carry around one of these, one of those, and one of those, say. So you only have one multi-purpose restoration pack. So say if you get set on fire, you use your restoration pack, which extinguishes the fire. You then get your track blown off, both your tracks, let's say, so both your tracks are now destroyed. You can't escape because you've just used your multi-purpose restoration pack and you don't have a repair kit spare, which is why I always carry around the 3 individual ones instead of one of these, because you can extinguish the fire and then repair your track and get away, whereas you could extinguish the fire but then you can't use it for another 90 seconds, so you can take a fair amount of damage if you don't repair your track, which is why I carry around a repair kit. So yeah, but then, so those are the standard consumables. It automatically comes with camouflage. As you can see, I cannot change it, but this camo is fairly nice. It's World War I themed camo. All of the World War I British tanks had the British tank logo. Yeah, let's bring up a British tank here. Those are all American things. The British things are right at the back here. Of course. Of course, Blitz, you don't get emblems. But anyone that's played World of Tanks PC or similar will know that each tank has got an emblem. So the British one has got the white stripe, the red stripe, and the white stripe again, just sort of sitting there on the Churchill. The Americans have got the American star painted on the side of the turret. The Germans have got, German crosses about. But World War I tanks had these as standard so that the British troops would understand that these are British and they're friendly. So that's so that friendly troops wouldn't shoot at the Mark I, because otherwise the Mark I would die to friendly fire very easily. So yeah, those things kind of standard, just so that you know that you are definitely British. As for the a final note of the armour, which is that you've got sloping here, but 15mm sloping, 57mm of penetration, or what is it, 90? Let's bring it up. 57mm of penetration, 50mm even sloped. It's still going to go straight through. I mean, it's sloped, but it's still only 15mm, and that's not a particularly good sloping angle. I mean, it is slightly sloped, but it's not T-34 sloped. That's T-34 as in Tier 5 Russian medium, not T-34 Tier 8 American heavy. What's another slopey thing? Yeah, it's not like the Hotchkiss. It's not like that slopey, or this slopey. It's not slopey like the front of a Panther. It's just barely sloped. So you'll want to angle this tank because it's sort of ingrained into you now. Because you've been playing World of Tanks, you know how to angle your tank. But even angling this, even if you angle it, this is only 5mm against 57mm of penetration. Things all go straight through you. I mean, every shot that hits you is going to penetrate, so just aim anywhere on the tank and you'll do damage. Even if you hit the track, it'll just go straight through and do some damage, so yeah. As for your crew, it comes 100%. World of Tanks Blitz has got an odd has got an odd sort of crew skill system, because being a heavy tank, you'll start training a heavy tank skill. No matter what heavy tank you're on, it'll always train the same skill. So I've got Adrenaline Rush twice, to accelerate gun loading by 2% when the vehicle has less than 15% HP left. So there's that. So Adrenaline Rush has been trained twice. I'm training up Robustness to reduce effectiveness loss of non-critical damage modules by 5%, so that'll stack up to a maximum of 30. But so the heavy tank, you've either got Robustness, which I've just explained, Adrenaline Rush, we all know. Repairs is self-explanatory. Firefighting is also self-explanatory, and then you've got Close Combat Master, which increases turret traverse speed by 1% if there's an enemy vehicle within 30 meters of your own vehicle. Most useful for heavy tanks with low traverse speed, like the T-34. So yeah, there's that. You can train, so it's all up to personal preference with the Blitz skills. I can't really say much on that. And that is the Mark I heavy tank. It's a fairly fun game mode. If I bring up the special here in the news, Mark I event, Centenary of the Tank requires an epic special we have delivered. Commanders, exactly 100 years ago, the very first steel beast slowly rolled onto the battlefield, very slowly, forever changing the face of modern warfare. Without them, a tank would just be a weird word for the World of Tanks series has never... would just be a weird word... blah. Without them, a tank would just be a weird word, or it would just be the shortened version of a water tank, which is what these tanks were codenamed as, because they looked like water tanks, because they're made of steel and they have a fair amount of volume in them. So they were codenamed tanks, so that anyone looking at it would just think, oh, they're talking about, water tanks. And that's how we got the word tank. But without them, a tank would just be a weird word, and the World of Tanks series would have never existed. Don't know about you, but we think these reasons are more than enough to celebrate the 100 years of Tanks anniversary in World of Tanks Blitz. Join us as we commemorate this monumental event with an epic special in which you will be able to take command of, drumroll please, the Mark I tank. We assume you are familiar with this machine, but for those of you who are seeing it for the first time, we proudly introduce the Mark I, the first tank to ever roll out onto the battlefield, with Wargaming editations on them. This is a special Wargaming version of the Mark I tank. It's not historically accurate, but it is playable accurate. Excited already? We surely are. If you want to know more about the entire event, what it's all about, and what the in-game date, then check out the details. So there's the event. Mark I tank will be credited to the players' accounts on the 20th, and withdrawn on the 27th. These dates also indicate the time frame of the special, so it runs for 7 days, so a week. Event is global, goal of 5 million battles played with the Mark I has been set. Undoubtedly we'll hit it hard, right? Same as our blah blah blah. You'll be able to track the event's progress on the Blitz main page. Any experience can be converted into free XP, but this can only be done during the event. When the tank is withdrawn, there'll be no such possibility. So unlike, say, the Lanchester, I'm guessing, or the T-62 Sports, they won't automatically go to the tier 1 tank of that nation. So, yeah, if you're playing this tank, convert all your XP. Please keep in mind that all equipment, consumables, and provisions you might mount on the Mark I will be withdrawn together with the tank without any compensation. However, you will get to keep the garage slot. Oh, okay, cool. We get to keep the garage slot. It's fairly handy. So the in-game details, unique set of rules. Mark I will have a separate queue, which means that battles will consist of Mark I tanks only. Mark I can platoon with other Mark Is only. All Mark Is will be held on Fort Despair. Of course, there will be rewards for if certain conditions are met. Play at least 10 battles and receive a unique participation medal, and play at least 25 battles and receive 3 days of premium. All rewards will be delivered within several days of the event. 3 days of premium will only be credited if the global goal is achieved before the event is ended, whilst the medal will be credited regardless of the event's results. There is another surprise. Community team has organised a special contest relating to the legendary Mark I, and everyone can participate. All you have to do is register on the dedicated page, and you're good to go. Pretty much sums it up, Commanders. Now jump into your very own Mark I tank and take it for another trip on the battlefield, this time the virtual one. So, there we go, the Mark I can roll out into war for 100 years since it's first released, which is a fair achievement, even if it's not on an actual battlefield, even if it is only virtual. But there you go, so there's the Mark I. That's the review. I'm not too sure what's to review, because you probably won't get this thing back again anytime soon, if ever. But yeah, so the Mark I. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.